My name is Hugh Scanlen. I'm from Texas. I served in Vietnam 1967, 68, and 69. I guess I should tell you a bit about my history. My father left me when I was 2, and I hated that. Every time I'd go into a new town, I'd look to see if he was listed in the phone book, and I never found him. It wasn't until about 10 years ago that at the time Prodigy was the big thing on the internet, and there was a billboard, I guess it was a billboard, where they were talking about genealogy. And I happened to write a little note to this man, and I said, "Do you have any idea where William Luckwell is?" And that was my father. About 3 days later, I got a message back saying, "Your dad's buried in Arlington National Cemetery." That's all I knew about him. So I got as much information on him as I could, and I got some Army records. He was in Army aviation back during World War II at 15 years of age. He was shot down over the Aleutian Islands. And when they found out how old he was, they kicked him out. He went back in the Navy and spent the rest of the war in the Pacific. I suspect that he had post-traumatic stress disorder, and that's why I didn't have a father. Well, I turned around and I spent 2 years in combat in Vietnam, and I saw so many dead children that I never wanted to have any of my own, and I had to convince myself that I hated children, and for 25 years I wouldn't have anything to do with them, because I knew that if I was going to be a father, I would be the most strictest father ever. I mean, I wouldn't let these kids out of my sight for anything, because the worst thing you can ever see is a dead 5-year-old. And I saw over 30 at one time. And I didn't have a chance to bury them because we were so busy fighting. And the last I saw these little babies, they were just rotting in the sun in the rubble of these buildings. And that so impacted me that I just couldn't do what I needed to do as a parent. And so I had a vasectomy. 25 years later, after I've healed from Vietnam substantially, I helped build a high school so that kids could get an education. And I love children. I help an orphanage in Mexico now because I love those kids. And I can't make up for the 60 years now that I've been here, but I know that it's not true that I hate kids. I love children. It's just that the war taught me that I would not make a good parent. And there are so many vets who are not married or decided not to have children just like me, that certainly post-traumatic stress has a tremendous impact on families of the future. And if you talk to mental health experts, they'll tell you that PTSD is contagious. How can it not be? I come home and I'm hiding out in the bushes at 2 o'clock in the morning, and little Johnny's sleeping in the bedroom, and he gets up to go to the bathroom and says, "What's Dad doing outside with a pistol in the bushes?" Or if I'm, locked in my basement downstairs, or I want you to turn down the television because it's bugging me, or I'm drinking all the time, or I'm taking drugs, or I'm smoking pot. PTSD is insidious as far as the family goes, and there's 40 or 50 symptoms, and you never know which ones are going to come up, and the rage and the anger can spark in a moment. So we've got to do something about PTSD, and we've got to make sure that the Iraq and Afghan vets coming back are treated, and they're not getting the medical attention that they need right now. There's not enough psychologists and psychiatrists with the VA, and dealing with PTSD is more than once every 6 weeks. You've got to get in there and take care of the business, and it's not being done, and we have a perfect storm. I served 2 years in Vietnam. These guys are serving 4, 5, and 6 terms in the Middle East. We have a perfect storm of PTSD coming back here that we're not even close to being prepared for. That's it.